I poured myself another cup of coffee, the steam fogging up my glasses. "Another quiet Saturday," I muttered, scrolling through my phone. Sophie had said she was in Paris with her friends. I imagined her laughing by the Eiffel Tower, snapping photos for Instagram, pretending I didn't exist for a few days. I heard the kids giggling upstairs. Emma must be building another blanket fort. I smiled, shaking my head. Someday you're going to collapse that thing on me, you know. My phone buzzed. A notification from the school. New photos from today's activities. I frowned. Sophie wasn't supposed to see them, her trip. I clicked anyway. And then, my stomach dropped. There she was, Sophie. Not in Paris, not even in a cafe. She was leaning against a couch in someone else's apartment, smiling at a man whose face I didn't recognize. I stared at the screen, my hands trembling. "No, no, no, no," I whispered. I tapped the photos again, disbelief clawing at me. Every shot was casual, intimate. This wasn't staged, wasn't work-related. My heart raced. My voice shook when I tried calling her. "Sophie." "Where are you?" I asked, trying to keep calm. A message popped up almost immediately. "Just at a friend's place." Paris was too crowded. "Don't worry, love." "Miss you?" I laughed bitterly. Too crowded, really? Too crowded? My thumb hovered over the screen, ready to reply with a fury I couldn't yet control. I paced. I can't believe this." My voice was raw, echoing off the walls. How could I have been so blind?" My mind replayed every conversation, every time she'd called during her trip. Every excuse suddenly sounded hollow, every laugh forced. "It's not what it looks like," I whispered to myself. "It never is with her," I sent a text. "Who is he?" No reply. Just a few minutes later, another message. "Stop being dramatic. He's just a friend." "Friend?" I laughed, short and bitter. "A friend doesn't get you to smile like that in a living room, Sophie." My hands shook so badly I dropped my coffee cup. It shattered on the tile. I crouched to pick it up, muttering, "Focus, focus. Don't freak out." But the calm voice in my head felt weak, drowned by heat and disbelief. I opened her social media on my laptop. Paris photos? None. Check-ins? All gone. Nothing. It was like she'd erased the evidence carefully, perfectly. Every word, every trip. I whispered. "A lie." My chest ached. I sank into the couch, staring at the screen like it could explain itself. Then I remembered the kids. Emma, Jake. How could she do this with them in our lives? I imagined them laughing, oblivious, while she was here. In someone else's arms, a voice inside me hissed, "She lied to you every single time." I typed another message, hands trembling. "Answer me. Now." Nothing. I got up and stared out the window. I thought I knew you. My reflection in the glass stared back at me, eyes wide, mouth tight. I thought I could trust you. I sank back onto the couch, mind spinning. The photos burned themselves into my brain. Her smile. The way she leaned into him. My world shattered silently in a blur of disbelief. Was it all lies? I whispered aloud. Everything? Us? The apartment was quiet except for the distant sounds of traffic. I couldn't even hear myself breathe. I opened the first photo again, zoomed in, trying to find some explanation. There wasn't one. "No, just no," I said, voice breaking. I can't believe this." I sat there for what felt like hours, staring at the images, frozen. My perfect life, the life I had believed in, was gone. And in its place, a cold, jagged reality, somewhere deep down. A tiny spark of anger lit, but right now, all I could feel was disbelief, betrayal, and a crushing emptiness. I whispered one last time. Barely audible. How did I not see this? How? And then I just sat there, staring at the photos, letting the truth sink in. The illusion was gone. I sat at the kitchen table, phone in hand, staring at Sophie's message like it could change reality. "It's not what it looks like." I laughed, sharp and bitter. "Not what it looks like, really?" I typed back, "Then explain it, Sophie. Explain why you're in someone else's apartment smiling like that." Minutes passed. No reply, my stomach twisted. I called her. Straight to voicemail. "Sophie." "Pick up," I said, voice low, shaking. "Answer me." Nothing. I paced. How long has this been going on?" My words sounded louder in the empty apartment than I intended. Months? Weeks? I need to know. I dug out my laptop, fingers trembling, and opened her social media. Post disappeared. Tagged photos gone. Locations wiped clean. Smart, I muttered. You're really smart at hiding things, aren't you? Then I called Marissa, one of her friends. Marissa, I need to ask you something. It's about Sophie. A pause. Okay? What is it? Is Sophie in Paris right now? I tried to sound casual. With her friends? There was a quiet, almost guilty laugh on the other end. Not exactly. What do you mean, not exactly? I snapped. Marissa, tell me the truth. Where is she? She's at Jared's, I think. She's been spending a lot of time there. But she said it was all just friendly visits. I dropped into the chair, feeling like I'd been punched. Friendly visits? My voice cracked. With the guy in the photos? Friendly? Yeah, I guess. Marissa sounded uncomfortable. I didn't know how to tell you. I didn't think it was my place. Not your place? I whispered. She's my wife, Marissa. How could I not know? I ended the call and rubbed my face. Everything, all of it. Lies. My hands shook. I needed more. I called Sophie's colleague, James. Hey, can I ask you something about Sophie? Work stuff, actually. Oh, sure. What's up? James sounded cheerful, unaware. Has she been coming in for meetings? Or working late lately? I asked carefully. Oh yeah, a lot actually. She mentioned some personal errands, but she's always smiling. Seems happy. I froze. Personal errands. Like what? Just, stuff. I didn't pry. Thanks, James, I said quietly, ending the call. I slumped back against the counter. I trusted every word, every smile, every I love you. My voice was rough, and it was all fake. All a show, my mind raced. The photos, the lies, the evasive messages. It wasn't a mistake. She had planned this step by step. Every alibi rehearsed. Every excuse ready. It wasn't a slip. It was calculated, I said aloud, pacing again. Every word, every trip, every fake story. Deliberate. I called Emma and Jake's school to check the latest photos again just to be sure. They were the same, but something clicked. Sophie's smile. The angle of the pictures. The apartment. My hands gripped the edge of the table. I typed a new message to Sophie, fingers trembling. I see everything now. This isn't an accident. This isn't a mistake. Answer me. The reply came, quick and almost flippant. Stop overreacting. You're imagining things. I told you it's nothing. Nothing? I whispered to myself. Nothing is this. Nothing breaks a man's heart like this. I slammed my laptop shut. I needed answers. I needed proof. I called Marissa again. I need more. Dates, times, everything. I can't do this blind. There was hesitation. I don't want to get involved too much. But okay. She's been at his place since last Thursday. Even Friday night. Saturday too, I think. I saw a story pop up. Story? I leaned forward. Show me, screenshots, everything. I'll send it. But I swear I didn't think it mattered. I didn't want to hurt you. I waited. My heart pounded. A few minutes later, a message arrived. Images of Sophie and him laughing, leaning close, kissing cheeks. My chest felt hollow, like someone had carved out a piece of me. I whispered to myself, voice shaking. It's deliberate. All of it. She's been doing this on purpose. I stared at the images, my mind racing, fingers twitching. I can't believe I trusted you. I really believed in us. I opened her phone contacts, scanning numbers. Unknown names, dates, times, every line of evidence piling up like a mountain I couldn't ignore. I thought about confronting her immediately, but I paused. I had to be careful, thoughtful, strategic, not reckless. I won't let her manipulate me anymore, I said, tone hard, almost cold. No more lies. No more pretending. I leaned back, exhaling. Rage mixed with clarity. Pain mixed with resolve. The betrayal wasn't an accident, it was calculated. And now, so would be my response. For the first time, I felt a strange kind of control. Watching, knowing, documenting. I wouldn't scream. I wouldn't beg. I would wait. I would see her next move, and I would be ready. I didn't answer my phone that night. Every buzz felt like Sophie laughing at me through the screen. Why? I whispered, staring at the ceiling. Why me? Why like this? The apartment felt empty, cold. I thought about calling a friend, but didn't. They'd see it. They'd know I'm broken. Still, my thumb hovered over Mark's name. I finally typed, "Hey, you free tonight?" Then deleted it. I couldn't force my voice out. It would sound weak. The next morning, Mark called. "Hey man, you okay?" "Yeah," I lied, trying to sound casual. "Just tired." "Tired?" He chuckled softly. "You're more than tired. You're distant. Something's up." "Spill it," I rubbed my eyes. "Nothing, just work, you know." "You've been at work less than usual," he pressed. "Come on, talk to me." I stayed silent. "I'm fine," I repeated. I didn't want anyone to know the truth. I couldn't. Later, I went to see Emma and Jake. "Hey, my little troublemakers," I said, forcing a smile. "Hi, Dad." Emma ran into my arms. I hugged her tight, feeling a stab of guilt. How could I explain betrayal to them? "Did you have fun today?" I asked, trying to sound normal. "Yeah, we made a huge fort," Jake added, grinning. I laughed softly, but inside I was crumbling. "They have no idea." "They can't know." How do you explain that Mommy lied? That she's not who I thought she was? Emma tugged at my sleeve. "Daddy, look! The fort has a secret tunnel." I nodded. "Wow, that's amazing, Pumpkin." I wanted to play, to be present, but my mind kept drifting back to the photos. The man, her smile, the lies. At night, I paced the apartment, memories flashing. Was any of it real? I whispered to myself. Was I ever loved? Or just used? I called Sophie, voicemail. "Sophie, pick up, please." I swallowed hard. I need to know why. Just tell me why. No reply. I slammed the phone down. "Damn it!" My fist hit the couch. "I trusted you. I gave everything." "And you... I sat down, burying my face in my hands. I should have seen it coming. I should have... My voice trailed off. I tried texting her again. I can't keep pretending. I need the truth. No answer. The nights were the worst. I stared at the ceiling, replaying every laugh, every word, every "I love you" she ever said. Was it all fake? I whispered to myself. It must have been. I thought about revenge briefly, like a spark in the dark. "No," I muttered. "Not yet. First, I survive. Then I decide. Then my jaw tightened. Then I take control. The next day I called Mark. "Can we meet? I need someone to talk to." He frowned. "Sure, man. You sound bad. Coffee?" "Yeah, coffee," I agreed, forcing a smile. At the cafe, Mark watched me quietly. "You're holding it in too much," he said finally. I can't let anyone see me weak," I admitted softly. "Not yet. Not like this." "You're already weak," he said gently. "It's okay. You don't have to carry it all alone." I shook my head. "I can't. They'll pity me. I don't want pity. I need to figure this out myself." Mark nodded, silent after that. We sat in quiet for a while, just the clinking of cups. I thought about Emma and Jake, Sophie, the photos. Pain churned inside me, but I felt the first trace of something else. Anger, determination, a plan forming. Back at home, I stared at the living room walls. "I can't live like this," I muttered. "I can't let her ruin everything," Emma called from her room. "Daddy, dinner!" I went to them, smiling again, forcing warmth. "Coming, Pumpkin." I held Jake's hand, feeling both love and sorrow. "Let's eat." After tucking them in, I sat alone, notebook in hand. I started jotting things down, dates, places, messages, observations, everything. "If I survive this, I'll make sure it counts," I whispered, underlining my words. The spark of revenge flickered again, but this time mixed with focus. I wasn't just hurting. I was preparing. I'll be smarter, stronger. I won't let her get away with this. I closed my notebook, breathing slowly. Tonight I hurt. Tomorrow, I act. I stood by the window, looking at the dark city, cold and quiet. "I have to survive," I said softly. "Not just for me, for them." I glanced at the kids' photos on the counter, smiling innocently. "I'll protect you. I'll fix this. Somehow." For the first time in days, I felt the tiniest spark of hope. Pain and betrayal still gripped me, but anger and determination burned alongside it. I whispered once more, almost like a promise. "I'll get through this. I'll come back stronger, and she'll regret everything." I waited until she came home. The door clicked behind her, and I heard her humming softly like everything was normal. My hands were steady. My voice had to be steady. I couldn't let her see my panic. "Sophie," I said, calm but firm. "We need to talk," she froze, tilting her head. "Oh, about what?" She smiled, casual, like she hadn't been caught. "Don't play games," I said, my eyes locked on hers. "I saw the photos. I know where you've been," she laughed lightly, brushing past me. "Photos? What photos?" I stepped closer. "Don't lie. Don't even try. I've seen everything." Her smile faltered for a fraction of a second, but she recovered quickly.
I don't know what you mean.
"Really, you're overreacting." I stayed silent. Let her talk. Watch her. Every hesitation, every pause, like peeling layers off a mask. "It's complicated," she said finally. I didn't mean for it to happen. It's not like it looks. Not like it looks?" I repeated, calm, measuring. "You've been lying for months. Sneaking around. Smiling in someone else's apartment. You think I'm blind?" She bit her lip. "I didn't think it would get this far." "I didn't—" "Stop," I said, raising a hand. "You never thought about consequences, did you? Never considered me, the kids, anything beyond yourself." Her eyes narrowed. I did what I had to do. It wasn't about hurting you. Wasn't about hurting me." I laughed, low and cold. "Do you hear yourself? Look at me. Do you see the trust you shattered?" She crossed her arms, pride flashing in her eyes. "I didn't break trust." "You didn't see it coming. That's your fault, too." I stared at her cold. "My fault? You want to blame me for your choices?" She shrugged, almost amused. "I didn't lie about everything. Just what I needed to survive. You wouldn't understand." "I understand perfectly," I said slowly. "You wanted what you wanted. No care for anyone else. That's your truth, isn't it?" She hesitated, then nodded slightly. "Maybe." I leaned back, letting her words sink in, calculating, watching. The fire in me that had burned in rage now turned sharp, precise. "I won't let you manipulate me anymore," I said quietly. "Not through lies, not through charm, not through anything." Her smile twisted. "Manipulate? You think this is manipulation?" "Yes," I said, voice firm. "Every excuse, every fake smile, every trip you lied about. Manipulation. And now it stops." She laughed a little bitterly. "And what will you do? Expose me, make a scene?" I shook my head slowly. "No, that's not how this works. You've underestimated me for the last time. I don't need to make a scene. I need control. I need quiet. Perfect control." Her expression faltered again. Pride cracked for a second before it reformed. "You sound threatening." "I am," I said softly. "Not with anger. With awareness. Every lie you've told, I'm documenting. Every move, every story, every false alibi. I know your patterns. I know what you did. And I know how to protect myself. And the kids." She stared at me, suddenly unsure. You can't." "I already can," I interrupted. "I've started notes, screenshots, calls, everything. And I'll continue. Quietly, carefully. But when the time comes, nothing you've done will be hidden. Nothing." She looked away, for the first time without her usual smug confidence. "You're serious," I leaned in slightly. "Dead serious. You've had your fun, your games, your freedom to lie, but I'm done being your victim. I've survived this far. Now it's time I take control of my life, and my kids' lives. You won't ruin them or me anymore." Her lips pressed into a thin line. "You think you can just erase me?" "I don't need to erase you," I said firmly. "You'll be exposed by your own choices. I just need to stay ahead, that's all. And you'll see quietly, carefully that your actions have consequences." She opened her mouth, but no words came. Pride warring with fear. Arrogance battling the realization that her game had ended. I backed away, letting silence fill the room. I felt the first rush of calm I'd had in weeks. Anger was still there, but sharpened, precise. Pain still lingered, but I could manage it. I glanced at the kids' photos on the table. "I'll protect them. I'll protect myself. And I'll make sure you can't touch either of us again." Sophie's face was pale now. You really mean it?" "I do," I said quietly. "And from now on, I act with purpose. Not emotion. Calculated, careful, and perfect. That's how this ends, for both of us." She said nothing. I knew she understood. She'd met someone who wouldn't flinch, who wouldn't break, who wouldn't let her games continue. I turned toward the door, a small, deliberate smile forming. It's over, and I'm just getting started. I woke up that morning and didn't even glance at my phone. No messages, no notifications, no excuses from Sophie. Just silence. I took a deep breath and whispered to myself, today, I take control. I called Mark first. Hey, you free? Coffee? Always. You sound different, he said. I'm fine, just ready to move forward, I said, forcing calm. At the cafe, I caught up with him, letting my thoughts spill carefully. I've started documenting everything, I admitted. Photos, messages, calls. Every lie, Mark raised an eyebrow. Smart, you're being careful, good. I have to be, I said, sipping coffee. I can't afford mistakes. Not with them. I glanced at my watch. And the kids. Emma and Jake need me steady. They can't feel my chaos. You're doing the right thing, Mark said quietly. I know it hurts, but this is control. Later at the office, I dove into work. Meetings, projects, deadlines. I attacked them with a hunger I hadn't felt in months. Tom, I need those reports by noon, I said sharply, glancing at my colleague. On it, Tom replied, slightly surprised at my energy. I noticed small things too. Sophie's attempts to manipulate through friends. A colleague who mentioned she'd said something about me that wasn't true. I listened quietly, letting the lies surface naturally. So she told you that? I asked softly. Yes, the colleague admitted. I didn't know if it was true, honestly. I see, I said, nodding slowly. Thanks for telling me. Every piece of information I collected, every witness statement, every slip she made became fuel. My anger wasn't random anymore, it was precise. I documented it all in a folder on my laptop. Dates, times, conversations, screenshots. Every detail mattered. That evening, I went to see Emma and Jake. Hey, my little adventurers, I said, ruffling their hair. Daddy. Emma exclaimed, running into my arms. I hugged her tight, trying to bury my exhaustion beneath a calm exterior. So what did you build today? A fort, Jake shouted. With a secret escape tunnel. I laughed, soft but genuine. A secret tunnel, huh? Show me. We spent the afternoon playing, laughing, building, and I kept a careful mask over my pain. But inside, I was meticulous, observing every little thing. Their innocence cut through the sorrow, yes, but it also reminded me what I was fighting for. After tucking them in, I returned to my documents. Bank statements. Hidden accounts. Messages deleted from phones but recovered. Small inconsistencies that Sophie couldn't hide. Every discovery sharpened my resolve. I called Marissa again. I need anything you know. Dates, times, stories, anything. I think she slipped up today, she whispered. She told someone one story, then later changed it. They noticed, I smiled faintly. Perfect. Keep watching. Everything counts. Even as I gathered evidence, I practiced patience. I didn't rush. I didn't confront blindly. I learned the power of silence, of endurance. The more she tried to hide, the more mistakes she made. And I was there, quietly collecting proof. One night, I texted Sophie, "We need to talk soon." No reply. I didn't expect one. She couldn't manipulate me anymore. I had learned to remain calm, to observe, to wait. Every interaction, every glance, I analyzed, cataloged, stored. I met Mark again for advice. I feel it's stronger, I confessed. I can't explain it, but the more I document, the more I control my life, the more I feel alive again. That's the shift, he said. Pain is fuel. Anger becomes strategy. You're not her victim anymore. Exactly. Not her victim. That thought repeated in my mind as I returned home. I opened my laptop, reviewing the evidence I'd collected. Every lie she told, every manipulation, every slip, it was all here. The power dynamics were changing. I was no longer reacting to her. I was anticipating, planning. I whispered to myself, quiet and cold. Every move you make, I'll know. Every story you tell, I'll document. And when the time comes, it will all matter. Everything you've done, all your lies. They'll serve me, not you. The shift wasn't dramatic. No shouting, no confrontation. Just quiet, deliberate control. Sophie still walked around, proud, arrogant, thinking she could continue as usual. But I knew. I observed. I calculated. I prepared. By the end of the week, I felt a subtle change in myself. I was calmer, stronger, more precise. I wasn't broken anymore. The rage was refined. The betrayal still burned, but now it had purpose. And I could see it reflected in Sophie's small missteps, her inconsistencies, her arrogance unraveling quietly. I closed my laptop and glanced at the kids' room. Their laughter echoed faintly through the hall. I smiled softly. I'll protect you. I'll protect everything we've built, and I'll make sure she never harms us again. The first stage of my plan was complete: survival, observation, documentation. The next stage would come when I was ready. For now, I had power. Quiet, steady, and absolute. I watched quietly, letting the world unfold around me. Sophie was starting to slip. At work, a colleague, Jenna, cornered her in the break room. Sophie, are you serious? You told me one thing yesterday and another today. I don't understand. Sophie's eyes flickered nervously. I didn't mean... Jenna raised an eyebrow. You always have an excuse, but people are noticing. You need to be honest, or things will fall apart. I was seated across the room, pretending to type. Every word, every hesitation I cataloged silently. I didn't interfere. Let karma take its course. Let her actions catch up with her. Later, I received a text from Marissa. She's really struggling to keep her story straight. People are talking. I smiled faintly. Good. Let it happen naturally. That evening, Sophie came home, trying to maintain her usual charm.
Hi, honey.
How was your day? I didn't answer immediately. I let her words hang in the air, calm, controlled. Work was fine, I said finally, voice even. You look... calm, she said, a hint of unease in her tone. I am, I replied. I have nothing to prove. Unlike some people, she stiffened. What do you mean? You know exactly what I mean, I said softly. You've been losing control. People are noticing your lies, your manipulations, and you're too proud to admit it. Her face hardened. I don't know what you're talking about. I leaned back, watching her carefully. Jenna, Marissa, even your so-called friends, they see through you. Your reputation isn't as perfect as you thought. She blinked rapidly, searching for an answer. You're enjoying this, aren't you? Not enjoying, I said, voice calm. Observing, watching, learning. You wanted chaos, manipulation, control. Now you're experiencing the consequences, and I'm here, steady, watching quietly. Her lips pressed together. You think you're better than me? I'm not better, I said firmly. I'm just present, focused. I haven't lost myself in anger or revenge. I let reality do the work for me. Karma unfolds naturally, and I'm just here to witness it while protecting what matters. She swallowed. I didn't expect this. You didn't expect me to survive? I asked softly. Or that I would stay calm. That I wouldn't beg, plead, or yell. She didn't answer. Later, I received an email from a minor colleague who had unknowingly revealed part of Sophie's lies. Not sure if you need this, but thought you should know Sophie's been telling different stories to multiple people. Just in case. I leaned back, letting a quiet satisfaction spread through me. No celebration, no anger. Just observation and careful acknowledgement. Each piece of evidence, each slip, was proof that the universe had its balance. At home, I focused on Emma and Jake. Daddy, look. We built a rocket, Emma shouted, holding up a cardboard creation. Wow! That's incredible, I said, ruffling her hair. You're going to be astronauts one day, I swear. Jake giggled. And it flies. I laughed softly, genuine this time. I can see that. Let's test it. Even in these moments, my mind remained alert. Every interaction with Sophie, every conversation overheard, every text I collected was cataloged. Her arrogance fading became my map. I didn't act impulsively. I didn't shout or accuse. I remained steady, watching, learning, controlling. One night, I called Mark. You won't believe it. She's losing it. People are doubting her everywhere. Even at work, Mark chuckled. Karma's quiet but effective, huh? Yes, I said softly. It's satisfying but not joyous. I still feel the pain, still feel the betrayal, but now I also feel control, stability. I'm not her victim anymore. Not emotionally, not mentally. And I'm protecting the kids. Later, Sophie tried a small manipulation at dinner. I thought we could, spend more time together this week, she said casually. I looked at her calmly. What's changed? She faltered, then sighed. Nothing, just thought maybe things could be normal. I smiled faintly. Normal? We don't have normal. We have reality. And reality is you've made choices with consequences. I'm not angry anymore. I'm prepared. That's different from normal. Her face paled slightly. You're not going to yell or cry? No, I said. I don't need to. I have patience. I have strategy. And I have my kids. That's enough. I watched her, subtle cracks forming, her facade fading. And inside, I felt a strange mixture of satisfaction and lingering sadness. Satisfaction because the truth was exposing itself, and sadness because I had loved someone who chose deception over honesty. I whispered to myself quietly, "You wanted power, Sophie. You wanted control. Now you see that actions have consequences, and I'm standing here, steady, unshaken, proving that calm endurance is stronger than any lies you told." For the first time, I truly understood the meaning of silent control. Karma didn't need me to act violently or loudly. It only needed patience, observation, and integrity. And as I tucked Emma and Jake into bed later, their innocent smiles still burning bright, I knew something else. The balance had begun to shift. I wasn't her victim anymore. Not in my mind, not in my heart. And the world, little by little, was beginning to reflect that truth. I waited until Sophie was home, the air between us tense and quiet. No words, no false greetings. Just the weight of months of lies pressing down on her. "Sophie," I said softly, calm, "we need to talk." "One last time," she froze, glancing at me nervously. I don't understand. You've been different lately. What do you want?" "I want truth," I said. "All of it. No excuses, no lies." She hesitated, biting her lip. I already said." "You've said enough," I interrupted, voice steady. "And yet people still know the truth. Your friends, your colleagues. Your lies are unraveling. Do you know why?" She looked away, finally unsure. I don't know what you mean." I leaned forward slightly, showing her the folder I had compiled. Screenshots, messages, witness statements, inconsistencies, bank records. "This," I said quietly, letting the weight of my words sink in, "is everything you thought you could hide. Every lie, every manipulation, every false smile, it's all here. And it's not just proof, it's reality." Her hands trembled as she reached toward it. I didn't think. "You never do," I said, calm, unshakable. "You never consider the consequences of your actions. Not for me, not for the kids, not for yourself." Sophie's eyes filled with tears. I made a mistake. Please, you have to forgive me." I stayed silent. Let her words echo, let her feel the weight of her choices. My silence was deliberate, a mirror reflecting everything she had done. "The kids," I said finally, voice soft but firm. "Emma and Jake deserve stability. You took that from them. Every lie, every absence, every hidden truth, you affected them. And me. But I've survived. I've protected them. And I won't let you hurt them again." Her voice cracked. I didn't mean intentions don't erase outcomes," I said calm. "You wanted freedom. You wanted excitement. You didn't care who was in the way. And now, look where that's left you." She sank into a chair, shaking. I can fix this. No, I said softly. "You can't fix the past. But you can take responsibility. Admit your lies. Face the consequences. That's all you can do now." Tears streamed down her face. Her pride and arrogance shattered completely. I'm so sorry. "I never thought." "You never thought," I echoed quietly. "And that was the problem. You never thought about me, about the kids, about the lives you were breaking." I closed the folder slowly, standing. "I'm done arguing. I'm done pleading. I've reclaimed what you tried to take. My home, my time with my children, my peace, and you will live with the reality of your choices, silently, subtly, permanently." Sophie's sobs filled the room. "Please, I was wrong. I'll do anything. Just forgive me." I shook my head. "Forgiveness isn't yours to demand, and revenge isn't mine to display. My victory isn't in yelling or humiliation or public exposure. It's in living calmly, steadily, without your lies controlling me." Her eyes searched mine desperately. "But I loved..." I thought. You can't control me anymore," I said, voice quiet but sharp. "And I never will be controlled by you again. That ends tonight." The room was silent except for her sobs. I watched, calm, feeling the final weight lift from my shoulders. The months of betrayal, rage, fear, all of it distilled into this quiet, unshakable clarity. Later, I sat on the couch, the children's laughter drifting from their rooms. I smiled truly for the first time in months. Emma peeked around the corner. "Daddy?" "Hey, Pumpkin," I said softly. "Come here." She ran into my arms, hugging me tight. "We built a castle!" "And it's amazing, I bet," I said, ruffling her hair. Jake ran in, holding a toy sword. "And we defended it from dragons." I laughed, warm and genuine. "Then we're the best knights in the world, together." Sophie's presence in the house no longer held power. Her remorse, her pleading, it was part of the past. The children's innocence, my calm, and my control over my life were the present. "And the future was mine," I whispered quietly, looking at them both. "I'm not broken. I'm whole, and we'll be okay. No lies, no manipulations, just us. Safe together." Finally, I leaned back, watching the kids play. The silence was peaceful. The house felt like home again. And I felt something I hadn't felt in months: control, certainty, and quiet satisfaction. My life was mine again. I smiled, small but real, and thought, this is my victory. Silent, complete, and unshakable. The mornings felt lighter now. Emma and Jake would burst into my room, shouting about forts or drawings or imaginary adventures. "Daddy, come see?" I smiled, swinging my legs off the bed. All right, I'm coming." "Lead the way." Their laughter filled the house, bouncing off the walls. I watched them run ahead, their innocence untouched by the chaos that had consumed our lives for months. Later, I called Mark. "You free for lunch?" "Always," he said. "You sound different these days." "I am," I said, pouring my coffee. Calmer, stronger, and finally, free from the weight I was carrying. "You've earned it," Mark said. "It's good to see you smiling again." I leaned back, remembering the dark nights, the sleepless hours, the endless questions in my head. It wasn't easy, but patience, observation, and staying true, it works. Karma, control, truth, they all line up if you stay steady. At the park with the kids, Emma tugged on my hand. "Daddy, race you to the swings." "Bring it on," I said, jogging after her. Jake laughed, running beside us. "I'm faster than both of you." We raced, we laughed, we played. And in those moments, I realized something. The past no longer held power. Sophie's lies, her betrayals, her attempts to manipulate, they were memories, lessons, but nothing more. I had reclaimed my life. Later that evening, I sat with a few close friends, sharing stories and catching up. I never realized how much I missed this, I admitted. Talking, laughing, just being around people who care. Lila, one of my oldest friends, smiled. "We missed you too. You disappeared into everything. But you're back, stronger than before." "I've had to rebuild," I said quietly. "Not just life, but trust in myself, in my instincts. And the kids, they kept me grounded. They reminded me what mattered." One friend asked, "Do you ever think about her?" I paused. "Sometimes, but she's no longer my focus. She's a lesson, not a shadow. I've learned to protect myself and those I love, and that's enough." At home, I pulled out a sketchbook I had neglected for years. "I used to love drawing," I whispered to myself. Pencil in hand, I began sketching again. Lines and shapes, reflections of my thoughts and feelings. Each stroke was therapy, a small victory. Emma peeked over my shoulder. "Daddy, that's so cool!" I smiled. "Thanks, Pumpkin. Maybe one day I'll teach you too." Jake joined in, holding crayons. "I want to draw dragons." "Dragons it is," I said, laughing. "We'll fill this whole page with them." Later, while tucking the kids in, Emma whispered, "Daddy, we're lucky to have you." I kissed her forehead. "I'm lucky too. You two make everything worth it." Jake yawned, eyes heavy. "Don't let the dragons bite me in my dreams, okay?" "Never," I said softly. "I'll always protect you." After the kids slept, I sat on the couch, sipping tea. The house was quiet, peaceful. I reflected on the journey, the shock, the heartbreak, the sleepless nights, the careful observation, the subtle victories. Every moment had shaped me, strengthened me, and led me here. I picked up my phone, reviewing old messages I had saved, proof of everything Sophie had done. Instead of rage, I felt clarity. Instead of pain, I felt understanding. Each reminder of betrayal was a reminder of survival, of patience, of endurance. I whispered to myself, the past taught me lessons. The present gives me peace. The future, I control. Mark called again, thinking about that weekend trip we planned. I am, I said, smiling. It feels good to plan something just for us. No shadows, no chaos, just time, laughter, life. You deserve it, he said, and you've earned every ounce of peace you feel. I looked around my home, at the drawings scattered across the living room, the toys strewn across the floor, the quiet hum of a life reclaimed. Sophie's absence no longer hurt. Her mistakes, her arrogance, her lies, they were now part of history. My attention belonged to what mattered, my children, my friends, and the life I chose to rebuild. I whispered softly, almost to the empty room, strength isn't in revenge. It's in endurance, in patience, in protecting what matters, and that is my power. The house felt warmer, lighter. The kids' laughter still echoed faintly in the hall. I leaned back, smiling, a quiet smile, steady and complete, not triumphant in anger, but victorious in life. I whispered once more, looking out the window at the fading sunset. I'm not the same man I was. I'm stronger, wiser, and free. And this is just the beginning. The room held a calm warmth. I finally understood. Life isn't about control over others. It's about mastery over yourself. And I had it, fully, quietly, completely.